The iPhone 15 Pro Max dropped exactly 2 weeks ago at the time of making this video, and let's just be honest, it had a serious backlash. We had numerous reports about people complaining of some serious overheating issues that I actually run into myself, which I'll be covering in this video. Also, a good amount of reports of people saying that the titanium build and the finish overall on the side is just not durable. We've had some serious problems with scratching and just the dark colors not holding up. And last but not least, we also had a little bit of controversy with the USB-C port, as it was imposed by the EU, but it still doesn't have any faster charging than the last iPhone, or it's just a little bit of a mess. Now, with all that being said, welcome back to the channel. This is my official iPhone 15 Pro Max review. I've been waiting a little bit on this one. I really wanted to get my hands on the phone, cover as many things as possible in this video, and really just give a more thorough review on the actual iPhone. I've been using it for exactly the last 2 weeks. As of today, it's been 2 weeks. I've used it every single day, and this is pretty much a roundup of all the things that I've rounded up on the iPhone 15 Pro Max. This is my official review. Let's jump right into it. First things first, let's talk about the new titanium finish. I absolutely love this finish. I think it's great. It looks beautiful. It is nice. But it's not just a finish. It's not just about being nice. It's not about just looking nice, but I really like it because it adds value to the phone. Now with the new titanium finish, we're looking at some different numbers for the iPhone 15 Pro lineup. So the iPhone 15 Pro and the Pro Max are respectively 10% lighter than their previous models. So if you're taking a closer look at the 15 Pro, it is 10% lighter than the 14 Pro, and the 15 Pro Max is 10% lighter than the 14 Pro Max. Now, a lot of people might think, okay, 10% is just a little bit, you know, it's just a small number. It's a kind of like a fraction. It shouldn't be of that much importance. I'm here to say that it definitely makes a huge difference. When I've been using the phone the last couple of weeks, for the better part of these 2 weeks, I have been using the phone caseless, and it was a little risky, and it kind of had me, you know, on the edge a little bit. But the 10% lighter definitely feels like more. I don't know how exactly to put it in words, but it is definitely lighter. It feels lighter, and anyone that's had a 14 Pro Max will know that those phones were pretty much bricks. So the 15 Pro Max, I definitely will have to say it is much lighter, and that 10% mark definitely holds up better in terms of value. And I think this is one of the main things. Even if you're switching from a regular 14 Pro to a 15 Pro, you're definitely going to see that increase and that lightweight form that's coming back. On the topic of titanium finish, this year we have 4 new colorways. We have the natural titanium, which I have here in my hands today. We have the white titanium, we have the black titanium, and the blue titanium. I want to give a little quick heads up for any of you guys who are kind of debating what colors you should get. I really do think that the natural titanium is the best looking one in my personal opinion. It looks the best, it's the cleanest, it has this premium, elegant feel to it. So I really like these new colors. They're really clean. It definitely gives a premium feel to the iPhone 15 Pro lineup. But beware, because the dark colors will be fingerprint magnets. And also, if you are planning to rock them caseless, which is very brave of you, but if you do plan on rocking them caseless, be prepared to have an issue with scratching and just overall damaging to the phone. Keep that in mind if you are planning to get this phone. Go for the lighter colors. It'll definitely last you in the long run. Okay, so that out of the way, I really want to talk about the new features of the iPhone. So first things first, I think one of the main selling point of this iPhone is the new action button. Now, I really do like the action button. I think it's nice, it's innovative, it's great, and I like it that they took it from the Apple Watch Ultra and brought it to this phone. You know, they're very similar. You have the Apple Watch Ultra, which is made out of titanium. Now you have the iPhone 15 Pro, which is also made out of titanium. You can kind of see they're part of this new family together. It makes this kind of cohesive harmony. But I have to admit, the action button is probably the most useless thing I've seen in a while. I really don't think that this adds that much value to the iPhone. I haven't really been using it. Like the last 2 weeks, I've been using the phone on a day-to-day basis, literally everywhere, at the store, at the gym, listening to music, you know, surfing through the internet, checking up on emails and everything. And I have to admit that I probably have used the action button twice in the span of the last 2 weeks. It really isn't that fancy. I know you can customize it to a lot of things. You could put like a flashlight, you could put a camera and everything. I've actually programmed mine to a camera, and it's great. And I kind of use it, but kind of not. It really depends on who you are. I know for me personally, I really got used to just clicking the camera logo at the bottom, and that opens my camera, and that's how I've been using it for the longest time. That's also a very fast process. It's just always been that way. I've always been using it. So action button, is it really a yay or nay? Honestly, at this point, it's up to you guys. If you can find more value to the action button, then definitely I would have to say that that's a pro. But for the most part, the action button is just cool more than anything. Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. Finally, we get USB-C, and I'm kind of on the fence about USB-C because I really wanted to see an iPhone with USB-C, and I really wanted to see some sort of implementation on the iPhone lineup for a little bit of time now. I've been really hoping that we get something new. We finally got it. Apple finally gave us USB-C after all this time, and don't get your hopes high too much because it was imposed by the EU for everyone and all the smartphones to have USB-C, which I'm happy we finally get it. But the thing is, Apple had a great opportunity here to give us a USB-C with faster charging, but we're still stuck at that kind of like mid-range floater 20-watt charging, which is good. I mean, honestly, it juices up the phone kind of fast. In about an hour and a half, 2 hours, you get the phone charged up. But then you're looking at phones like it's a Samsung lineup, which is, some of them are starting at 45-watt fast charging, and some of them can go even higher than that, which is kind of disappointing because Samsung gives us something really good, something of value, and then Apple is just giving you the mid-point entry level. So they're giving you a USB-C that can only charge to 20 watts, maximum speed charging. Obviously, MagSafe is still pretty slow. I think you're getting a 15-watt maximum charge on there, which is kind of okay, but nevertheless, it's not the best. It feels a little bit underwhelming, kind of disappointing. And also on the 15 Pro lineup, you do get USB 3 support, and you can actually shoot in ProRes. We're going to jump into the cameras really quickly, but yes, you do get some USB-C 3.0 support, which is great. I haven't really used it myself. I think that's going to be for the more dedicated content creators. But then again, if you are a content creator, I don't think you're going to be shooting on the iPhone most of the time. You are going to be bringing your gear. So like your camera, I'm shooting on a Sony. You're going to be bringing your gear. So it's really nice for point and shoot. But then again, I really wish we had a faster charging on USB-C. This was a great opportunity. I feel like Apple kind of just, I don't know, it just kind of sucks when they do that. They give you something, but they give you like the very bare minimum. At the end of the day, it's just USB-C. It was due, finally got it. It's welcome. I mean, we'll take it. So as I was mentioning, the cameras actually on this phone are pretty performant. And at first I was a little skeptical because they did say that it was going to have a 48 megapixel main, and the iPhone 14 Pro also had a 48 megapixel main. Now the thing is, it takes great pictures. Now don't get me wrong, it takes fantastic pictures, and I really love the new camera lens, the new feature with the 120 millimeter lens. It takes some stunning pictures, and it definitely surprised me. I've been able to take some really awesome pictures outside. I've been kind of surprised. The clarity and the sharpness on those pictures is actually fantastic. You're getting a good amount of saturation, good amount of contrast, and I'll have a compilation of these pictures that I've been taking across the last 2 weeks, and I've been really impressed. I actually really like that feature, and I think I will be using it more than I think. Definitely having access to that much power and having access to those abilities is going to allow me to create better pictures. It's going to really allow me to just get a little bit more extensive with how I use the camera and where I take my pictures and how I take them. This is what the front facing camera looks like. This is also against the sun. I know I'm a little busted right now. It's in the morning. I'm shooting this early morning. I don't have much of a choice, and I kind of have a little thing in my eye, but as you can see, the autofocus on the front facing camera is working just fine. The lighting is great in my opinion against the sun. This is with the sun in my face. Obviously you're always going to get the best results when you're going to have the sun in your face, but yeah, this looks just super nice, super crisp, just really solid. Like, wow, it's so good that if you were to have like bad skin or acne or anything, you would actually hate this camera because it points out all your flaws. But yeah, it's really crisp, it's really nice, it's really bright. I just gotta admit, this is really like, I'm impressed. Obviously, we've had strong cameras and solid performance from Apple for the last couple of years, but this definitely is fantastic. It's actually really, wow. I don't know if I'm like kind of good looking or super ugly in this camera. In terms of battery health, it's absolutely fantastic. It's been holding up really well. I don't use my phone that heavily on a day-to-day basis. I have to admit, I pretty much stick within that 4 to 5 hour range per day, sometimes a little bit more. Maybe I'll touch 6, it really depends, but I do use Bluetooth on a very regular basis. Whether I'm in the car, I'm always listening to music, or if I'm at the gym, I'll put my headphones on, but I'm using Bluetooth. So the Bluetooth always is pretty much on. Kind of half of the time I'm using the phone, it is on, so that would drain some of my battery. I'm also, scrolling on social media, checking up with you guys, checking up on emails, handling a couple of business here and there, and just a regular usage. I haven't really been gaming on the phone, and I know they've mentioned that this was a gaming phone, but due to that new A17 Pro chip that I want to cover a little bit with the performance, but the battery health overall is just fantastic. It will definitely hold up to 2 days. For me, it does hold up to 2 days. And if you are a heavy user, you are planning to use this, you're using the GPS, you're using music, you're using, just your cellular all the time, all day, every day, it'll definitely get you by through the whole day with no problem. It's pretty much a light breeze, a 24-hour range or like a 16-hour range. The iPhone 15 Pro Max holds up super well, and obviously you're going to get the best battery with the Pro model. It's just this is just how it's been for the last couple of years, and the Pro Max is obviously the best option. Now really quickly, I want to touch up on the chip. The A17 Pro holds up really well. It's the first time we see a Pro chip in an iPhone, and this is actually really nice. In terms of benchmarks, it actually holds up really closely to the M1 chip. I was hoping that maybe one day we would get like an M chip inside of the iPhone, and I was hoping that it could be this one. This could have been the iPhone where we get that M1 chip, but we pretty much get the same thing. So yeah, we've seen this pattern with Apple where they've had, you know, the regular A chip for the iPhone and the M chip for the other devices such as the iPad and the MacBook. The A17 Pro holds up really well, and I've definitely have not experienced any slowdown. So definitely between the A16 from last year and the A17 Pro, there's a couple of differences. It's not an astronomical performance boost. It's not going to absolutely send you flying. It's great. It holds up really well. It gets the job done, but it's not that significant. It's not that important. We'll have to test it out in terms of gaming, because they did mention that this phone is very capable in terms of gaming, and it can render some full-fledged games on here. So from like PlayStation 4 games can run on this thing. They've obviously they're working on like on Resident Evil. So whenever that comes out, I'll try to test it out and I'll have it on the channel for you guys. But the overall A17 Pro chip is great. Gets the job done just fine. Now, I really want to cover one more thing before I wrap up this video, and that's really the overheating issues. Now, I've had this issue throughout the time that I've been using the iPhone. It's been something that's been kind of lingering, and I don't know. I hope they fix it. I'm not sure if it's entirely a software thing or it's a hardware thing. I'm really hoping it's just a software thing. Apple has released some news confirming that they would be working on this and they will be releasing iOS updates. And literally in the last 5 days, there has been probably like 3 updates for iOS that just came out. So, you know, there's been moments where I've been using the phone extensively. So I've been using maps in the car because I was going somewhere. I also had the Bluetooth running with the music, and I was running GPS, and I think I was roaming at that time and point, and I was also sharing my hotspot. So I was really using the phone. I was really putting it to the test, and the phone was actually super fine. I didn't experience any overheating issues. And then later that day, I went to the store, and the phone was literally on simple rest mode. I pretty much had no background apps running, and it was in my pocket. And in the span of like 5 minutes, it went from super chill to really hot. Now, it was burning up in my pocket, and I remember taking out the phone. I was like, why is this so hot? And it really was burning up. So it's really weird. I don't know what this overheating issue is all about. I hope Apple fixes it in the near future. For the most part, right now, it's not a huge problem. I haven't been really experiencing it that much. It only happened to me about 2 or 3 times in the last 2 weeks. It's really not that bad. Hopefully Apple fixes it soon. We'll have to wait and see. So last but not least, I really do want to point out something. I've had a regular sized iPhone for a better part of the last couple of years. I've had the 13 Pro, the regular 13 Pro, and before that I had an iPhone X. And I really do have to say that I really enjoyed that kind of like 5.9 to 6.1 inch display. But this time around, because of the new titanium finish, because of the new build and how light this Pro Max is, I think this is definitely the year to switch to a Max. If you've never had a Max phone, or if you've never had a plus size phone, this might be the year for you to switch. This is definitely the year where I'm going to switch. I'm definitely going to be keeping the Pro Max due to battery health. I've been using this for the last couple of weeks, and the battery health is just fantastic. I absolutely love it, so I don't think I'm going to be going back. But the bigger size screen is also really nice, and the battery health is just like, you know, it's nice. And because of its lightweight form, it's because it's 10% lighter, it's just great. You know, at the end of the day, I just really feel like I feel like they're perfecting the formula for the iPhone. It's coming along together. It's really nice. My overall verdict on the 15 Pro Max for that matter is it's a good phone. It's a good phone, you know, holds up great. It has premium specs, premium materials. It performs really well. So obviously it just depends on who you are, what kind of consumer you are, what are you looking for, what are you expecting out of the 15 Pro. I know for me, I'm going from the 13 Pro to this. It's not the biggest upgrade, but it is a slight upgrade. There's also things returning from like the previous model, so you have dynamic island and all that stuff. But then again, you know, at the end of the day, there's only so much they can add to the iPhone. But let me know what you think about the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Are you going to be picking this up? If you are, leave it in the comment section down below. I'd be really happy to know if you guys are picking up this new iPhone. With that being said, is this a yay or nay, cop or drop? I'd be really curious to know. As always, guys, if you want more information, I will try to leave some in the description down below. Stick around to the channel. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I'll be uploading some more content in the future. And as always, stay safe. I wish you the best of luck in everything you do, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Deuces.